Good morning, guys. About 8 a.m. It's Vince from CG Vinyl Studio, and we have got the P7000 fired up. We have a really interesting graphics order. We're doing a starburst pattern, and many of you may be wondering what that is. And when this gets done, we will show you exactly what they look like. But I wanted to discuss what you were dealing with when you start taking holiday orders. And we get a lot of questions about holiday orders. And this is where you really want to mind your P's and Q's, so to speak, as far as learning your software, making sure that the hardware you have is configured, make sure you have your ink tanks topped off, your maintenance tank if you're using a printer of this caliber. Smaller printers, of course, always make sure you have enough ink in stock, because this is naturally when your orders will be coming in much faster, hopefully. I mean, that's the whole idea. You will find that seasonality will play a huge role in how you produce products. We certainly do. We see it even with YouTube channels. And realistically, at this point, we always make sure we have enough vinyl, not just for your orders, but for our own, and always making sure that you can mitigate as many possible variables that would hold up production as possible. Because if anything ever does come into a hiccup position, it typically always happens when you really don't want it to, when you need an order done. So these are things to really keep in mind. I cannot tell you, even in my other business, how many times guys will say to me, oh God, I'm down and, I need a part immediately. Okay, I can definitely do that, but it's not practical as far as how much you're going to pay, because most of the time you're going to expedite shipping. When you have to pay expedited shipping, and you're really looking at, a large amount of money, especially when you're dealing with UPS, which is really the only one we like to work with, simply because they guarantee their shipping times. The other thing you think about is insurance on whatever you're shipping, because right now package handling is much worse than it would be normal times of year. Why is that? Well, their volume goes up, and I could tell you, I was a supervisor at UPS when I was actually working for them for quite some time, and I could tell you they do get crazy, and I mean really crazy. And it's just one of those things that you have to prepare for and understand that package handling, when those guys are, throwing your packages around, they're not looking other than at the zip code, and that's really it. So keep that in mind and really just pay attention to what you need done. And that's why I say it's always cheaper to have a couple extras on the shelf and you're good to go. And you can see these lime green, they're more like a bright lime green starburst pattern. And these typically go on models' wings or their stab, and they really just make a model really stand out. If he was to try to cut this or make this out of monocoat or another covering or do it with paint, it's not nearly as precise. It'll never come out as clean. And this is just how easy it is to make custom graphics for whatever you want. Now let's say, for instance, he wanted a gradient pattern of different colors, like it to go from green to yellow. Can do that. Let's say you wanted an inlay of another image. We can do that. I mean, it's endless. And that's the whole principle behind graphics. It's not something where you're limited or you're really going to limit your clients to what's only on the market. So again, seeing graphics like this, I like these kind of orders because you guys get to see, different prints. And again, when you dial in the colors, you really can see how they pop. And behind these, we're going to have some standard logos and a couple bottle labels that I need for my other business. And that's what we always try to do. We try to knock out as many things as you can think of. And I know many of you out there, we've had a lot of clients tell us that they like to print labels for their house or, cooking labels. You'd be shocked at how many times any functional graphic comes up, and I've discussed that in previous videos. Functional graphics are a gold mine. You can see exactly what we're producing, and those came out beautiful. So what I'm going to do is let this wrap up. You can see we've got, what size sheet is this? 15 by 24, so we're about 2 feet as far as length, a little over a foot as far as width. Now we're knocking out my labels, and what I will do is I will let this finish up and we will show you the sheet when it's done prior to lamination. Okay guys, we've got the print unloaded from the printer, and we wanted to show you just before taping everything down how we get everything organized. We got a straight edge here, straight edge here. We're using it for weight so that we can now tape the edges, and that's how we get our 3 points. We'll start over here first, then come over here, then the top. Once again, start on either side, left or right first, and then the top. Using the glass as a straight edge will tell you when you're aligned with the bottom of the vinyl. And I highly recommend investing in a proper paper cutter to give you a perfect straight line if you're cutting it yourself. Again, you can see all the graphics that are set up, and we are going to go through and tape it down. Naturally, I can't do that and film at the same time with Joanna. We're going to both be required for this, and then we'll be set. Okay guys, we are done with lamination, and once again, you can see exactly what we got. We even got a little tension on the sheet, and you can see that sometimes happens with the lamination, just because you're going over, and the compression from the rollers on the laminator will do this. If you look carefully too, you get a couple blems every now and then outside. That's why we always leave the gap, and I've explained that before. Just a tiny little discoloration, and that might be from looks like a pen tip. Other than that, these look fantastic. I've got my labels for my business, and we are all set there, and we're good. So now we're gonna go cut these guys and show you what we got. Okay guys, you can see just about 3 o'clock. Joanna's done for the day with her other job, and we're just knocking this out casually. Loaded up into the Suma. She's got the light on, she's just adjusting head for tracking. Let's turn the light off, come over to Vinyl Master. She's checking everything. We're just doing a single pass because this is our glossy substrate with our 3M8518 over laminate. There we go. Very, very quick process, guys. Just knocking them right out. And the SIGs are of course custom, just like the Starburst patterns. We can do them in any color. Get asked that question a lot. The big thing is you just need to be creative, guys. I'm knocking out the last one, and that's it. Okay, she'll trim them up, and we'll show you what we've got. Okay, guys, we have got our graphics right here, and Joanna naturally is going to go and weed these on camera. Of course, my labels I don't weed because they're business labels. There's really no reason to. But you can see exactly what we've got here. She just takes her time. And the Starburst, once again, if you were trying to cut this out of checkered monocoat, if you could even get it in the color format you want, we get a lot of custom requests for colors to match different models, and that's something that I'm real proud of that we could do. We do have a color spectrometer, which will allow us to scan whatever color you want, get the palette right, and you can see exactly what you're left with. Done. And those are beautiful. You can see there the cut lines, just how perfect. Beautiful. And once again, the Suma can never ever be underrated. When we cut exactly on the line, these look exactly like they're painted on. They're absolutely amazing. And when I say that, these are not bleed cut. They are actually cut at the exact line of where the white vinyl meets the printed black edge. So you can see exactly what you're left with and just how amazing these come out. Beautiful. Now our SIGs. Right through. She just takes her time. See? And you notice she's always very careful. She never lets the edges stretch. And you can see even if they fold up a little bit, the vinyl, once it relaxes, will just make contact with the backing, and that's really all you need. Your glue is never really going to be manipulated in any way, as long as you don't stretch the vinyl, and you can see what you're left with. There you go. And for my guys out there wanting stencils, we can definitely do that as well. And you can see what I mean by that. We have a lot of clients that want that too. Like for instance, if you wanted to take these and let's say do checkerboard pattern, much easier to do a stencil and do a paint job and get that real refined look, much better than you do it by hand and save you a ton of time. So again, guys, I hope that your creative juices are flowing. Once again, whatever you decide to do, get that side hustle going and look for micro investing. Do not worry about thousands of dollars investing. Start with a couple hundred, if that, at first. Much easier to recover from, and does not mean you cannot still double or triple your money depending upon what you invest in. Vinyl right now is super hot. I really don't think it's that difficult in terms of what you've seen online with many robots that are being out there. And this stuff's been around forever as far as the technology, so it just keeps getting better and better and more applicable to, you know, whatever your budget is. We thank you for your support. Take care.